Hello, welcome to battle number 8. Let's get started. I am still trying to, get my account prepped so I could start getting ready to make some mons that I can use for competitive. I'm making some Terra Raid mons and also trying to beat the Blueberry DLC so I can start getting some legendaries. That's the problem with the restricted version. If I had started earlier, I wouldn't have much problem, but now that I am waiting and late to the party, I've got a lot to work through, and it has been fun. Rank number 4. Alright, Mr. Deck. Urshifu. I don't know which kind. Chien-Pao, Ogerpon, Raging Bolt, Incineroar, and Farigiraf. Farigiraf. I don't know what that does. Maybe Trick Room. That is possible. With the Chien-Pao, I'm a little bit scared to run. Probably I'll run the Chien-Pao, Raging Bolt, and the standard 4, I think. Needs a way to go. Let's see. No restricted mon on the enemy side, so maybe it's just using a regulation H? No, not H, it's before that. Oh, no, it would be H, because I would be. Alright, that is, I think, water, Urshifu, and the Chien-Pao. Maybe I should have used the Among Us for the Urshifu if I knew that was coming. I'm gonna terrestrialize, body press, Chien-Pao, and Icy hopefully resist against the water. This might be a terrible idea. I'm running out of time. And I should have used a close combat. Alright. That is good. Icy Wind slows them down. Not a lot of damage. Now what is Chien-Pao going to do? Nothing, because it dies. That is fine. It's pretty slow Chien-Pao, huh? Alright. Now that close combat is out of the way. Alright, get less attack. That's fine, because I'm gonna body my fake out. So I am going to... I want to double up. I think I want to protect this turn. And switch in my Raikou. The Raging Bolt. That way I could... Hopefully it fakes out into my Zamazenta slot. Let's see what it does. Fake out, yes, into the Zamazenta slot, And the Urshifu will try to use close combat. Does decent amount of damage. But hopefully now I can kill. Let's see. Body press into Urshifu. And I'm going to Thunderbolt into Urshifu. So if that kills, I'm just going to end up Thunderbolting into the Incineroar spot. Okay, Overpawn. Body press into Overpawn. And Thunderbolt into Overpawn. KOs it. Alright. I think it's pretty straightforward. Actually, no parting shot. Okay. Into my Raging Bolt. It leaves. So now it is Urshifu and what's in the back? There's one more in the back, right? I killed the Overpawn. Oh no. It's just these two. Okay. Works out. It's going to fake out again. I don't think it's going to fake out into. Oh yeah, I killed the Chimpa. I think it's gonna fake out into Zamazenta again. So I'm going to protect. And then I'm going to Thunderclap into Urshifu. Fake out and probably close combat on my Raging Bolt in order to kill it. Oh, it terrestrializes. It probably terrestrializes the Urshifu. Yes, because it wants to protect it from the Raging Bolt. But it's a water Terra. Okay. So maybe he's trying to use the signature move. Let's see. Protects. Fake out into Zamazenta. Good. And Thunderclap into Urshifu. Wow, very strong. Okay. So with +1, it actually does a lot of damage, huh? And from here, I think that's game. I don't really see any possibility that I will lose here. Yep. Forfeits. And there you go. That is game. Alright. I think I made some pretty good reads this match. I had a little bit of trouble fighting against the Urshifu because I didn't have anything that was halved against it. If I had brought the Among Us, I could have brought it out instead of Raging Bolt. But yeah, and then used it to soak up some of the attack. Like I could have taken out my Chien-Pao and then switch into the Among Us and be dealt less than, a lot of damage. That is a possibility, but let's see. It would have been not great against Incineroar. It would not have been great against the Chien-Pao. The Chien-Pao that I took care of. The Incineroar, I did end up terrestrializing my Zamazenta, and that gave me an advantage against the Incineroar, being not weak to Flare Blitz that he may have. it is a possibility that I actually do not bring the Shade Rider here and bring the Among Us instead because I am weak. Well, the Shade Rider doesn't really do a lot of damage against three of four. No, three of the enemy Pokemon. Um, that I yeah. But I think having the Raging Bolt is actually pretty good against fighting the Urshifu, the water version of it. Let's see, right? As it says, Raging Bolt. Well, as this says, Calyrex, Kyogre, Koraidon, and Zamazenta. But if there was something about fighting against the oh yeah, it's here. It said there is a Kyogre, and when there is an Urshifu, use either the Among Us or the Raging Bolt against it. There wasn't much against that. I think that we wanted to. Well, he put in the Among Us in order to be strong against the enemy Urshifu water. So probably bringing in the Among Us instead of the Shade Rider would be a decent choice. Okay. So turn one. Swords of Ruin. Great. I should, I should always look at the speed ties, right? So in here, we can see my Chien-Pao was the fastest, and then enemy Chien-Pao, and then it was my Zamazenta. So now I wonder what he used turn one that could possibly have him run slower than the enemy, than both of us. I think I did the right thing. Dragon Terrestrializing. I was worried about the Urshifu. I forgot that it had close combat. But if I stayed the steel type, I would have died. So it was a very good choice to terrestrialize here. Close combat. And very defensive, bulky. And here I see Wind to slow down the enemy. And I use Body Press to kill the Chien-Pao. I wonder what it was trying to use that made him go slower than me. Let's see what kind of attack that he has that he runs slower, right? I see him pivot. Ice Shard Sword, that's no speed. Nice slash Dark plus Icicle Crush. No. Ruination. No. Sucker Punch. No. Sacred Sword. No. Recover Throat Shove. Sheer Cold. I wonder if he had like Roar. I actually do not know. I don't know what it could possibly use in order to go blast. Huh. Maybe it was slower than my Zamazenta. But is that even possible? It's 135. And my Zamazenta is 128. So it is possible. Possible to be slower. If it was bulkier, that is a possibility. Alright. And our Shifu survives. Intimidate. It is okay. Intimidate on my Chien-Pao is not the greatest. but I thought that I knew that he would fake out Problem Zamazenta because it is worried about me body pressing against the Urshifu. And so I protected against the fake out. And I changed my mind here because my Chien-Pao can't really hit against the enemy Urshifu anyway. My priority was to kill that thing. So I had to bring in someone that could possibly do the job, which is now here the Raging Bolt in this case. So it worked out. I made the read. The read worked out. Fake out into my Zamazenta. Close combat into the Chien-Pao slot, which doesn't kill. Here, and then in here I wanted to double up on our Shifu, which I didn't want the possibility of Thunderbolt not killing the Urshifu, or actually Urshifu being faster than my Raging Bolt and killing out the Raging Bolt. And in here I figured I'm not really hitting against the Incineroar, but I think the better thing, no, and I just wanted to double up in that slot. It actually turned out in my favor because the enemy switched out the Urshifu into the Ogerpon, and the body press didn't kill the Ogerpon, and I was able to finish it. That actually did work out in my favor to get a knockout. But to be honest, if I knew that, well, if I knew that they were going to switch out the Urshifu, this was the right call. If I knew that he wasn't going to do that, I knew body press was enough, and it would switch into doing the Thunderbolt against the Incineroar would have been the better choice. But if I am my opponent and he already used the fake out, he knows his Urshifu is going to die if it says, barring a protect. So if he doesn't run protect, then switching out is the obvious option for him, because his Urshifu is the only thing that could kill my Chien-Pao handily. And also, but I think after having Dragon Trastalize, he doesn't really have anything that could do a lot of damage to my Zamazenta. Close combat does a decent amount, but Flare Blitz is halved, Ogerpon is halved. So I think at this point, because I was able to do the Dragon Terrestrialize into my Zamazenta, he probably didn't know what to do. Most likely. Doubling up works here. Parting shot into the Raikou. I'm just surprised that even as neutral, the Thunderclap is enough to kill their Urshifu. I actually want to go back to this turn. This turn definitely has something to think about, right? Was it the right choice to press the Thunderbolt into the Urshifu slot instead of the Incineroar slot? If I did, parting shot happens later, right? Yeah, after the Ogerpon dies. So given that the enemy is running the grass over pawn, it would have grass terrestrialize, get the boost. Being mono grass actually doesn't have much to hit against it. So an overpawn is slightly slower than my Zamazenta, correct? Overpawn. He is so cute. Overpawn 110. So if he actually spec'd into speed, it would have been faster. And that could have been pretty dangerous. He would have most likely KO'd my Raging Bolt. For sure. But I would be able to kill. I would have most likely thunderclapped. No, because now if that worked out, even if I didn't kill the Overpawn, I would have had Ogrepawn or Shifu, and I would have to choose. I would thunderclap into Urshifu, and then I probably would have body pressed. That would actually be better. That would actually be better. It would turn out better, right? So I think it would have been the right choice to Thunderbolt into the Incineroar spot and dealt a lot of damage against the Incineroar. No, wait, hold on. No, because I think this Incineroar is not built for damage at all. Maybe he had a knockoff. Because with Incineroar left by himself, he didn't have enough damage to do anything, in my opinion. And in here is the right choice to just Thunderclap and protect the fake out. I was just surprised that this was so strong. Because it's 40, so then the enemy. Nice. This match had a lot to think about, I think. I am not 100% sure what would have turned out better. I would have won either way, so it is inconsequential. But in any case, that he could have decided to stay and then he close combat. No, because he would have died to Zamazenta. Yeah, so he would have switched out no matter what. Knowing that he switches out, then, and also Thunderbolt probably not going to KO the Incineroar because it's probably the bulky variant. Then I think it was the right choice to double up into the Urshifu, predicting the switch. I should have read that he was going to switch. These are pretty hard. After the fact, it's pretty clear that the Urshifu can't do anything. So he was going to try to do something with that situation. And I just happened upon a better outcome. But next time, I need to recognize what the enemy, because enemies using the Urshifu as the damage dealer in this case, and he will want to preserve it as much as possible, and he knew that it wasn't possible, so he would definitely switch out. I think that is just something that I would need to know, and more time goes on, that is something that I will, learn by heart. All right. Well, that was battle number 8. Even with the VOD review, it's hard to find out the exact correct line of the best choice. But over time, I would learn more. I will recognize more situations, and hopefully, it leads me to a better person. All right, thank you for watching the video. If you like the video, please subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, anything that helps. Thank you very much. See you in the next battle.